If you're looking for a landing page builder or an easy way to split test your landing pages, Unbounce has the features you need to be able to host, build, and test your landing pages fast. In this video, I'll show you how to create an Unbounce landing page and also show you how to do basic A/B split testing. So that way you can not only get your landing page up off the ground quickly, but you can also start getting it converting faster. The landing page is one of the most critical components you can have when it comes to digital marketing. This is the place where we start converting traffic into a deeper relationship that will ultimately, hopefully, lead to sales in the future. So you want to make sure you get this part right and start that relationship off on the right foot. Unbounce is a great tool when it comes to creating landing pages. They provide an all-in-one solution that lets you not only create landing pages quickly, but they also will host the landing pages on their platform and allow you to do quick A/B testing. So in this tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the steps of creating your first landing page with Unbounce. We'll show you the basic features, and then after that, we're going to go through the process of starting your first A/B split test. So let's jump into it. If you'd like to give Unbounce a shot and see if it's a good fit for you, I highly recommend that you do that. I've included a link in the description below that will not only get you a 14-day free trial to see if Unbounce is a good fit for you, but it will also get you 20% off of their standard plans. So check it out. Okay, so this is what Unbounce looks like. It's pretty plain, actually. It's plain because there's nothing in it. So this is just basically, think of this as a blank canvas and a place for you to get started creating your own landing pages. Okay, so this is what it looks like. In order to get started, all we have to do is click this Create New button up at the top. And it will take us to this selection page that lets us choose what we want to start out with. Now, by default, it's going to want you to choose a Builder Basics template, which is a really great solution if you're trying to understand the mechanics of creating a landing page that converts well. This template takes you through step-by-step kind of what things you should include, and it instructs you on what elements you need to change and those kinds of things. So that's a really great feature that you can use to learn with. Another option we have, of course, is we can start out with a blank page, which is, as it says, it's completely blank. So that's kind of boring and not very interesting to look at. So we probably won't start with that. The other option they have is you can choose one of these templates to start with. This is really great. So that way you're not staring at a blank page. You've got some things that kind of inspire you, some design elements maybe that looks good to you that you can kind of build off of or change to the way that you want it to look. And you can use one of these included templates, or you can even get additional templates through Theme Forest. So again, it's a really nice feature with Unbounce. No excuses as to not having a design that looks good or not getting started because you don't think you're going to have a design that looks good. Unbounce completely makes that a non-excuse. So what we're going to do here is, instead of starting with a blank page and instead of starting with a Builder Basics template, we're going to go ahead and start with this template right here, which is a pretty basic template. So we're going to select this, and then we're going to start with this template. We're going to click this button down here in the lower right hand corner, and we're going to go ahead and use this as our jumping off point. Okay, so this is the web page builder itself. So we've gone ahead and picked a template. We've got it loaded into the web page builder, and what we can do now is customize it. Now, I will say with Unbounce, you have a lot of different features, and like I said, it's designed to be used by both beginners and advanced users. So I'm not planning on going through every feature, but I am planning on going through the basics of how this works. So that way you understand and not be intimidated by the Unbounce interface and realize that this is a really, really simple interface to use and get used to get your landing pages up and running quickly. So what we can do first is, since this is starting out with a template, we can, I'll show you what happens if you highlight over each of these different elements here. Each of these things are a different element on this page. And when I say that, I mean like this here is a logo, this is an image file, this here is a text box, this is another image file, and this is a form element. So with this template, basically they've included kind of the basics that you need to stand up a really simple landing page, and you can get as fancy as you want, but really the ultimate goal here is to create something that people want to sign up for and opt into, right, with a landing page, so that way you can capture their contact information and start following up with them to warm them up, to help build that relationship, and to ultimately help turn them into a customer or client. Okay, so that being said, we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you what it looks like to first edit elements that are actually on the page. So right here, this is actually an image. It's not text. So what we want to do, since we want to change this to the logo, a different logo, one that actually fits our brand, what we're going to do is just double click on this element, and it's going to pull up a choose image dialog, and we can pick an image from this. This is one I already have included here. We can choose that, and we'll say scale image to fit the box. And now that image has changed to one that we want. So we replaced the logo for this web page from the one that was included with the template to one that we wanted to include on the page ourselves that matches our brand. Okay, pretty easy, right? Same thing with a header. If we want to change this text, all we have to do is double click in it, and the text becomes editable. So we could change it to say something like get your free guide below. Right, and you can see here, again, pretty straightforward. If we wanted to change this text, say we don't like the font, we can go over here on the right hand side and select a different font. There's tons of fonts you can choose from. I like Montserrat personally, so I'm going to change that to, let's change that to a medium. And let's say we want to also change the size of this, so it's maybe looks a little bit too big, so let's change it to this. And there you have it. So just a few simple clicks, and we were able to make some basic but foundational changes to the page. We can keep going. We can change this image here if we have an incentive or a lead magnet, as it's sometimes called, that someone would want. So we can do the same thing here as we did with the logo up here. We can just double click on it and pick an image. If you don't have an image already in Unbounce, and you need to upload an image, all you have to do is click this upload new images at the bottom of this dialog box, and you can pull up an image that fits your needs. So let's go ahead and pick this one and click choose. It will ask you if you want to scale the image to fit or not to scale it. I always typically choose scale image to fit, and there you have it. So this is, again, this is just a demonstration, so you can make this whatever image you want. This is just to show you how easy the process is to change the different elements on the screen. You can scroll down here. You can see there's other elements to this landing page by default. You can do things like resize the sections. So for example, if you think this section is too big, then you can grab this little bar right here, and you can drag it up. Actually, that adjusts the size of the section above it. So if we click on this one, we can shrink this up here. And if we want to move these boxes, I'm just going to highlight these different elements, drag them up, and then I'm going to click on the box and click this little bar again and drag this up again. So you can see here it's pretty easy to resize these different elements here. So again, if this is too big for you, you can shrink this down a bit. You might have to select these elements. I'm just holding down the shift button when I click to highlight multiple elements on the page, and then I can click again and then drag it wherever I want it to be. And we'll make that a little bit smaller. There we go. So really straightforward, right? Pretty easy. All right, so now let's say that we want to add something to the page that isn't already there. What we can do is go over to the right-hand side and click this button that says section. And what that's going to do is we're going to click and drag it. What that's going to do is it's going to allow us to put in another section on the page. So this section is basically, think of it as a blank area where we can put additional information in it. Just like these sections below where we were able to resize it, we now have a blank section where we can add our own things. So maybe we want to add some additional text. So let's go ahead and click on the text, and we'll drag it over to this box. And we'll say something like, actually, let's change the text color here on the right-hand side. Let's change it to black so that way we can see it. And let's change it to say, you're in the right place. Oops, place. I can spell. All right. Now, I want to make sure it's centered in here. So I'm dragging it until this text highlights green on both top or in both of the axis. So basically center of the page and center within this box. That's why you see the two green lines there. I'm going to let go, and basically that's completely centered in the page. Now, it doesn't look very good because it's all scrunched together, but what we can do here is we can drag this out. Just click and drag this side, and we can click and drag this side to get it centered. And let's go ahead and change the line spacing on this to make it a little bit bigger so it's spaced out a little bit better. And there we go. Should I misspelled that here? You're in the right place. Okay, that's it. That's all there is to it. It's really easy, really simple. And of course, we could change other things. We could make it bold. We could change the alignment. All these things here on the right-hand side we can do. We can change the color. We can actually change the color of this background box. So if we wanted this to not be white, if we want it to be something else, all I had to do was click on this section box here, and then I can come over to the right-hand side and click color and change it to something else. So let's change it to like a light green here. I don't know if that's going to look good, but we're going to try it. So I'm going to choose that. And there you go. I mean, really, this is super simple. This is one of the easiest web page builders there is. And not only is it simple, but it's also really powerful. If you want to make sure, you might be thinking, well, this is great. This looks fine on your monitor, but what if someone visits this page with a mobile device? Well, Unbounce also has a feature where you can customize the design for a mobile device. So if you look down here on the lower right-hand side, there's this button here for mobile. Let's go ahead and click on that. And this will show you what this looks like if someone visits on a cell phone. So you can see here, it's not completely right. It doesn't have all the elements lined up where it's supposed to be. So what we can do is we can fix that. We can make sure this is lined up centered. Let's go ahead and resize this box here just a little bit to shrink this down. Drag it to the center. And then same thing for this logo. Let's go ahead and make sure you can see it here. Actually, this is masked, so I'm going to click Edit Mask and click Remove Mask, and that'll let everything show through. So there's our logo, a little bit squished, but you get the general idea. There's our logo. There's our text. There's the image that we replaced. There's our sign up form, and then here's this new section that we created. This text is actually red because that means it's off of the display area. So in order to fix that and make sure it's visible when someone visits this page on a mobile device, all we have to do again is click and drag the element and put it in the center. And it's still red because it's too big on the side, so we're just going to shrink this down here. Shrink it down over here. Shrink it down over here. Oh, a little bit more. And boom, the red goes away, and that tells you that this is going to be visible when someone visits this web page on a mobile device. So again, really simple, really straightforward, but also really powerful. So Unbounce has done a great job here of making an editor that's not only easy to use, but also really powerful. So kudos to them. All right, so if we go back to the desktop, we can see here the design for the desktop is exactly the same. Even though we made changes to the mobile design, those two design elements are separate. So for example, if say we wanted this to show up, this in the right place to show up only on the desktop browsers, but we didn't want it to show up on mobile devices, let's go back to mobile and just kind of show you the power of this editor here. Let's go ahead and click on this section. And then on the left-hand side, let's go ahead and expand this panel. And this shows you all the different elements on this page. So this is a little bit overwhelming at first, but don't let it scare you. So on this side here, we've got this section highlighted. So this section is highlighted here. You can see it's a little bit darker than the rest. And so if we don't want this to show up on mobile, since we're in the mobile view, we can just click this little eyeball here, and it goes away. And that's only disappeared for mobile visitors. If we go back to the desktop, that section's still there. So really, really powerful stuff here. It's a great builder, as I've said before, and you can do pretty much whatever you want. It's a really, truly, what you see is what you get interface, and however you lay things out on the page, that's what visitors are going to see when they come to your site. So another thing you might want to customize in this template is this lead generation form. Maybe you don't want to request everybody's information like their first name and last name, email, and industry. Maybe that's too much information for you to collect. You just want to collect their email address. Not a problem. Just click on the form and then make sure the panel on the right hand side is expanded. And you can go in and click this button called Edit Form Fields. What that's going to do is that's going to let you come in here and either modify fields that are already in there, or you can add additional fields, or you can take fields away. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this industry, and I'm going to send it to the trash. And then I'm going to click on last name. I'm going to send that to the trash as well. And on this page, I just want to capture someone's first name and their email address. So I'm going to leave it at this and then click the Done button. And you can see this form has reduced itself to just first name and email along with this Submit button. We can even change the text on the button. What I have to do is make sure the button's highlighted, go over here to the side and type in download now as an example to change it. And basically, again, that's all there is to it. If you want to change the color, same process. Make sure the button's highlighted. Over here on the right-hand side, just click on the color selector, pick the color you want, and click the choose button, and then that's it. So really, you know, this seems like it's very simple. It seems like it's very elementary because, quite frankly, it is. It is very easy to use. It is very simple. But when you first get into it, it does look a little bit intimidating because you do have a lot of different options. So just keep that in mind. It is really simple, really powerful. And if you're not sure what you need to do in order to change an element or add an element, not only can you just poke around and kind of see what options are available, but they have a really great help section as well that will kind of lead you through the steps of what you need to take, the steps that you need to take in order to make the page work the way you want it to. Now, you also might be wondering, okay, so that's all great, but where does this form go? Where does this information go? Well, we can see where it goes if all we have to do is click on the form itself, and then we can click on Edit Confirmation Dialog. And what that'll do is it shows that once that form has been submitted, it will show this additional window here that says, thank you, we've sent a confirmation to the email address you've provided. So when someone clicks on that button, it sends them to this pop-up window. Actually, this pop-up window just shows up over the main web page, and then the email address gets captured. Now, Unbounce also includes some really great options for lead capture. It includes a built-in lead capture system, so that way you don't have to worry about integrating it with your own email marketing system. You can just set up the page the way you want it to, go through your testing process and make sure you're capturing the leads along the way. And then you can integrate your email marketing solution later on whenever you feel like it. So that's also a really nice feature. Okay, so before we get into A/B testing, let me just show you what this looks like here to get back to the page. On this view right here, we've got the form confirmation dialog, which is what we got into once we click that, submit button. And all we have to do is click back on the page, and it takes us back to this. So that's pretty much the interface in a nutshell. Okay, so now that the page has been created, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a standard A/B split test, so that way we can start seeing what changes we make to the page, what results in a higher conversion rate. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select this button here that says A/B test, and that puts this page into an A/B split test mode. Really simple, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and add a variant. So this is basically, we've got the main page that we've designed, and then we want to make another change to it to see if that change results in increased conversions, right? So all we have to do here is we just have to click this Add Variant button. And it asks if you want to duplicate an existing variant. Since this page only has one variant, which is the one that we just created, this is our only option. But if you had a page that has multiple variants, you can pick one and duplicate that one instead of the one that's the default one at the top. So let's go ahead and click Duplicate an Existing Variant. I mean, obviously we could also click Start from Scratch or Start with a Template, but really when you're doing A/B split testing, you're wanting to make subtle changes to the page. You're not wanting to completely start over again. So even though you have these options here, I'd recommend just clicking on the Duplicate an Existing Variant to make minor changes to an existing design. So let's go ahead and click Create Variant here. And it says the variant was created successfully. And so this is it, right? So we've got this first variant here, which is the page that we created, the original way that we designed it. And then we've made a copy of that same page into a separate variant, and that's called variant B. So we've got two variants now. We've got variant A, which is the main variant, and we've got variant B. All we have to do now is click on the edit button to make some changes in the second variant. So what that looks like here. Okay, so again, this is just an example, but what we would do here is we could say, instead of get your free guide below, we can make this change this to make it say something like download your free checklist, right? Because maybe people want a checklist instead of a guide, right? Makes sense? So download your free checklist, and let's go ahead and click save. And then we'll go back to this overview. Okay, so now we have two pages. We have the first variant and we have the variant copy. I'm going to say this is variant download header. So that way we can understand and keep track of what it is. And all we have to do now is click on this wait text and change it to where instead of 100% of the traffic is going to the first variant, we're going to split this to just make it an even 50-50. So that way, as visitors come, one person will see variant A, the next person will see variant B, and as we go along, you'll see how many visitors there have been, how many views there have been, how many conversions there have been, which basically in this case is a conversion is someone puts their email address and first name in and clicks that submit button. That's a conversion. And then what the overall conversion rate is. So as we get traffic to this page, you'll see these numbers go up and down over time, right? So one might be better than the other, or they might both equally be the same. We won't know until we actually do the test. But that's really essentially all you have to do to create an A/B split test for a page. Both of these variants will show up again with the same URL. So it's the same page address. So it could be get.yourwebsite.com/download, and whatever variants you put on this page for testing, again, Unbounce is going to take care of all the heavy lifting here and show different versions to different videos to collect the statistics, which will give you an informed decision as to what pages work better than others. Before we go off of this page, I want to show you one final critical step here, which is even if we didn't start an A/B test, even if we just wanted to create a single landing page without a test, we need to make sure this is published. So we go up here and click this publish button, click publish now, publish page, and we fly through space for a little bit. It's publishing in the background. Okay, and now the web page is up and running. If someone would go to the URL that we have here on this page, then Unbounce is again going to divvy up the traffic and send half of the people to the first variant and half of the people to the second. Now I'll show you what that looks like here too on something that's not just a brand new page, so that way you get a better idea of what that looks like in a real world situation. Okay, so this is an A/B split test that I did on a page that I created a little while back. You can see here that I've had quite a few visitors to this page, and the overall conversion rate is 20%. Now, right now I have two variants running. This variant is the main one, and it's at 67% weight. Again, you can change this to whatever you want. I typically recommend you set it at about 50-50 to get the data that you need, but you can change it if you like. And you can see this first variant here, which is actually not the first one. This is variant M. So I've been doing quite a bit of testing here. This has had 1,600 visitors and 424 conversions, so my conversion rate is 26. So not terrible for this type of a page. This is just basically an email capture page, and so 26%, I could probably get this up a little bit higher. But you can see here all these tests that I've done over time, and when I first started out, variant A was 6%. Right, 6% conversion, meaning 6% of the people put in their email address and opted in for the incentive that I presented to them. And I made some changes, and you can see how these each of these changes affected the overall conversion rate. So, and these are not big changes; these are little changes. So it's important to test everything, right? So even on this one here, this is surprising, right? I went from 6%. I went all the way up to 10%, and then I went down to 1% and then 0%. So I was on the wrong path here for sure, but I recovered and got everything back up to, you can see here, 24% and then ultimately 26%. So Again, this is a very powerful tool. You can use it to not only stand up landing pages quickly, but you can use it to split test your traffic. And you can see here, based off these numbers, that split testing your landing pages is a really important step, and you need to make sure that you're doing that and not losing out on potential leads and potential customers. As you can see, Unbounce offers a lot of great features. It's really easy to use for the beginner, and it also offers the advanced features that you need to not only start getting traffic to your landing pages, but also getting that traffic to convert into potential customers and clients. If you'd like to give Unbounce a shot and try it out on your own, don't forget I've included a link in the description below where you can go and sign up for a 14-day free trial, and it includes 20% off on any of their paid plans. All right, that's about it for this video. Hopefully you liked it. Leave me a comment in the description below and let me know what you thought about this video, and if you have any questions or comments, anything else that I can help you with. I want to make sure that as a fellow entrepreneur, you're getting through the points that are sticking and making you not make progress and not getting your business to grow the way you want it to. So thanks again for watching this video. Please like the video if you haven't done that already, and subscribe to this channel, where at The Cloud CEO, our goal is to help you become a better digital marketer. Thanks for watching.